Hello and welcome to Lewis Daylily Garden. Today I'm going to be talking to you about digging daylilies, dividing clumps, and washing off the dirt on those clumps. Let's start with my favorite tool, the shovel. These are radius shovels. They're made out of stainless steel. Now, I used to use wooden handled shovels, and anytime I tried to dig out these big clumps, time after time, those wooden handles would break. Got sick and tired of that, so upgraded to these radius shovels, and I love them. Okay, we're in the front yard here, and I'm about to dig a clump. I usually like to not dig right there next to the daylily. Give it about 6 to 8 inches out. That way these roots here are not going to get cut off from the shovel. So let's start, and I like to dig a full circle around the daylily, especially when it's that big, so as to ensure that I don't lose any roots in the process. So let's get to digging. All right, here we are. Just finished digging the hole. You can see I came all the way around. Here's the clump. You can see there's a lot of invasive grass and weeds in there. But there is a nice clump of fans that I'm going to divide up. So now I'm going to spray off all the debris, dirt, and pull all that weed and grass material out before I ship it. I don't want to make a customer angry. And let's move on to that step. Okay, I'm standing in front of the biggest clump that I've dug this spring. Right off the bat, you can see that I had to divide this before even taking it out of the hole. And it's pretty simple when you got a clump this big. I usually just put a shovel right in the middle and just step it down a couple times right across there. We have very heavy clay soil here in Northeast Ohio, and the weight of a clump is enough to break your back. So sometimes it helps to do something like that in order to get it out of the hole. Okay, what I like to spray off the daylily clumps with, I like using this spray nozzle attachment to put on the end of the hose. It does a really good job of cleaning off the dirt, especially with clumps. It doesn't harm the roots. You can buy this at any big box store or hardware store for a relatively cheap price. And you're probably wondering where I got this idea. I saw this being used at another daylily nursery, and it stuck in my head, and it turns out to work really well. So let's get started washing off these clumps. Okay, we are out here ready to spray off the biggest clump that I dug this weekend. And you can see I rested it on its side. You don't want to flip it over completely upside down, because that'll damage the fans. This is a good place to start. You can see got a lot of dirt there, and it's going to take a little bit of time. So I'm just going to show you a little bit here. See how quickly that removes the dirt? You can start to see the daylily roots immediately almost. Okay, I'm going to pause it. Okay, you can see I've gotten this much dirt sprayed off. There's a lot more to go. I'm going to roll this clump over. Bear with me, it's pretty big. Okay, and there's the side that got divided from. And now I'm going to start spraying this area to clear off this half. Here we go. A lot of dirt. Hard work. So we've gotten to the point now where most of the dirt is off the root ball there. You can see that came out nice and clean. Now you have to divide it. I prefer to use a pair of scissors. I like it because it goes nicely into the clump, and then I can't really do this without using both hands, but I will push down and pry back and forth like that to split up the roots. Now there's a number of things you can use. If it's easier for you, you can use a hunting knife. Some people use screwdrivers, all sorts of different things, but I'm comfortable with the scissors. So that's how I divide the clump, and I'll show you what it looks like in just a sec. And now, after dividing, I now have 3 smaller clumps. You can see where it broke off from the main clump there. And those should heal up this spring fairly quickly when they're replanted. Here's another one. This is big. This is almost too big to ship, actually. It's nice that I have so many fans of this plant. I sold some of this just last week, and this plant needed to be divided. As you can see, it's just a monster. And there's the division there. So I gotta actually continue to clean off the mud that you can see that's still there. So let me get back to that. And here's the finished product from that clump, which was about that size right there. I've divided it into, these are actually smaller clumps of 5 to 6 fans. And look, I even got a little bonus fan I can put in somebody's box. And you gotta let them dry. I like to take the scissors before I ship and cut the daylily foliage right about there across in the entire clump so that the appearance is nicer. And the daylilies like to have their foliage trimmed before reacclimating to a new location. So there it is. I hope you enjoyed that. I will say that this is how I do it here in Northeast Ohio, and some of you have sandier soils in the south, so that you may not have as much difficulty as I do cleaning off a clump. But that's how it works for me, and I just wanted to share that with you today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and happy gardening.